The Galactic Council chamber fell silent as Commander HFY of the Veltani hegemony materialized a holographic display. 300 species watched as primitive kinetic weapons rotated slowly in the blue light. Bullets, missiles, crude explosives that required actual chemical reactions. HFY's mandibles clicked in what passed for laughter among his kind. This, he gestured with his upper appendage, is what the humans call their arsenal. Chemical propellants. Metal projectiles, technology our ancestors abandoned 15,000 cycles ago. The chamber erupted in chittering, buzzing, and various forms of alien amusement. The humans had been observed for decades since they'd achieved faster than light travel, their small colony worlds cataloged and assessed. Their military capabilities? Laughable. While the galaxy wielded plasma cannons, antimatter beams, and graviton disruptors, humanity still threw metal at its enemies. They evolved on a death world. HFY reminded himself with a flicker of unease. But surely that means nothing against proper technology. The vote was unanimous. The human expansion into Sector 447 violated Veltani territorial claims. They would be educated about their place in the galactic hierarchy. It would take perhaps a solar cycle, the military advisors suggested. Maybe less. 3 months later, HFY stood on the bridge of the Infinite Redeemer, flagship of the Veltani Third Fleet. 72 warships, each bristling with weapons that could turn a moon to superheated gas. Before them hung New Bethlehem, a human colony world of 12 million, defiant, refusing to evacuate. "Sir, we're detecting launches from the surface. Dozens, hundreds of launches." HFY's secondary eyes focused on the tactical display. Rockets. Actual chemical rockets arcing up from the planet. Point defense, full spectrum, swat them. The Redeemer's defensive grid hummed to life, energy beams lancing out to intercept. The first wave of missiles detonated, harmlessly just as expected. Then the next wave arrived, and the next, and the next. "Sir, they're overwhelming our targeting systems. These aren't guided, they're just volley fire, saturation attack. Impossible. No species wastes ordnance like." The first missile got through. Then 3 more. They weren't powerful enough to breach shields alone, but they didn't need to be. Each impact registered. Each burst of explosive force created interference, feedback, cascading technical complication. In systems designed to repel precision strikes, not waves of stupid metal tubes packed with explosives. Fleet-wide evasive maneuvers, HFY commanded, feeling the first cold touch of something he refused to call fear. Return fire. Obliterate those launch sites. The Third Fleet's plasma cannon spoke, painting the colony's surface with superheated death. Mountains melted. Cities burned. Surely now contact 63 new signatures, bearing 337 Mark 15. They were hiding in the asteroid belt. Human warships emerged like predators from ambush. They looked wrong, brutish, like ore haulers retrofitted for war. No elegant curves or energy-efficient designs, just armor, engines, and weapons. The UNC Thermopyle led the human counterstrike. Captain Sarah Chen stood in her combat center, coffee in one hand, tactical display in the other. Around her, controlled chaos, as 24 officers coordinated a dance of violence her ancestors would have recognized. Railguns in range. Commence firing. The first human salvo crossed 1,000,000 kilometers in seconds. Not energy that could be deflected by shields. Not antimatter that could be contained by magnetic fields. Simple metal cylinders accelerated to a fraction of light speed, striking with the force of small nuclear weapons. The Veltani shields, optimized for energy dispersion, barely slowed them. Kinetic energy transferred directly to hulls. The destroyer's zealous faith came apart, its spine severed by 3 consecutive railgun impacts. Its reactor breached, adding antimatter fury to the equation. All ships, fire missions at will. Tigers, you're cleared hot. From launch bays on 20 human vessels, aerospace fighters screamed into the void. Humans called them F-447 Tigers, antiquated. By galactic standards, still dependent on pilots rather than AI. The Veltani point defense system, sophisticated and precise, tried to target them. The Tigers didn't dodge with mathematical precision. They juked, they rolled, They flew with intuition and aggression that no algorithm predicted. Pilots whose ancestors had dogfought over Earth's skies with guns and missiles brought those same instincts to space. They wove through defensive fire, got inside the Veltani's engagement range, and released ship-killer missiles that tracked, adjusted, and hunted. "We're fighting barbarians," HFY thought as another cruiser on his tactical display winked out. "Why are we losing?" "Sir, their electronic warfare it's crude, but it's everywhere. They're flooding all frequencies with noise, false signatures, their own. Communications seem to cut through it, but ours boost signal strength. Coordinate fleet movements manually if required. But coordination required time, and the humans didn't grant them any. Every 20 seconds, another railgun salvo. Continuous missile launches. The Tigers harrying larger vessels, forcing them into defensive postures. And underneath it all, something HFY's sensors were only now detecting. Communications chatter. Human voices, coordinating, adjusting, adapting in real time. "Delta Squadron, break left, cover the Gettysburg's flank. Thermoplay, we've got solution on their command ship. Request permission to engage. Negative, save your heavy ordnance. Take out those cruisers supporting it. Isolate the big bastard." On the ground, the battle had become personal. Veltani shock troops materialized through quantum displacement, expecting to face scattered, demoralized humans. Instead, they found Marines. Staff Sergeant Marcus Webb crouched behind rubble that had been a school 6 hours ago, his rifle steady against his shoulder. The Veltani wore powered armor that shrugged off energy weapons. Their plasma rifles could turn a human into vapor, none of which mattered. At 50 meters with 30 rifles firing in coordinated volleys, the humans didn't take careful shots. They laid down suppressive fire like their ancestors had at Below Wood, at Fallujah, at 1,000 battlefields across human history. Walls of bullets that found joints, weak points, anywhere that armor flexed or connected. Frag out. The grenades arsed over, timed perfectly. Ancient weapons refined across centuries. The Veltani squad formation, tactically perfect by galactic standards, became a liability when high explosives detonated in their midst. Zulu 7, this is Zulu 6. Mark artillery strike, my position plus 50 meters, danger close. Negative, Zulu 7, you're within. I know where I am, son. Send it. The artillery fired from mobile units constantly repositioning to avoid counter-battery fire. Rained down metal and fury. Marcus and his squad pressed themselves into whatever cover remained while munitions designed to kill tanks shredded the Veltani position. In orbit, the battle reached its crescendo. The Infinite Redeemer, shields failing, armor compromised, tried to retreat. HFY watched 12 human ships converge on his position, each one scarred and battered but still fighting, still firing. Multiple missile locks. "Sir, they're using nuclear weapons, outlawed by 37 separate galactic conventions. Barbaric, indiscriminate, devastating, perfectly effective. The warheads detonated in sequence, coordinated to maximize thermal and kinetic damage." The Redeemer shuddered, systems failing, power dying. HFY's last conscious thought was bitter understanding they'd never stood a chance. Not because human weapons were superior, but because humans didn't fight by anyone's rules but their own. The Third Fleet, what remained of it, scattered. 38 vessels fled to hyperspace, abandoning New Bethlehem, abandoning their dead, abandoning their certainty. Captain Chen surveyed the tactical display as her crew erupted in exhausted celebration. 14 human ships destroyed or crippled, 6,000 dead, a colony world burning. Victory. Communications, send to all commands, secure orbit, begin search and rescue. Prepare for humanitarian operations groundside. She paused, looking at the retreating Veltani signatures, and sent a message to Sol, tell them New Bethlehem holds. In the Galactic Council chamber, HFY stood again 3 months later, his carapace scarred, his reputation shattered. The holographic display showed human weapons again. The same bullets, the same missiles. But now, 300 species watched in silence. "I came to tell you what I learned," HFY said quietly. "These humans evolved on a world that tried to kill them every moment of every day for millions of years. They climbed to their apex, not despite their environment, but because of it. Every predator, every disease, every natural disaster refined them." He gestured to the display. "Their weapons are not primitive. They are perfected, refined across 10,000 years of constant warfare against each other, against their world, against everything. While we develop technology to avoid conflict, They develop technology to win it. The chamber remains silent. They don't fight to achieve victory conditions. They fight to survive. And a species that fights to survive does not stop until the enemy is broken. They will use any weapon, any tactic, any strategy. They will take losses we would consider catastrophic and call it acceptable. They will do whatever is necessary because, for them, war is not political. It is existential. Jakar's mandibles clicked, but not in laughter. I recommend we grant humanity full council status with all associated territorial rights, because the alternative is finding out what they're capable of when truly threatened. And I do not wish to see that galaxy. The vote was unanimous. Across human space, in bars and barracks, on ships and stations, a new toast emerged. Simple words that carried the weight of humanity's arrival on the galactic stage. They learned. They all eventually learned.